There's something fascinating happening right now at the intersection of internet culture, global travel, and generational identity, and it unexpectedly spilled into a mini cultural firestorm after Godfrey dropped a video going off on Algeria over the way popular streamer IShowSpeed was treated during his African tour. Godfrey wasn't playing polite diplomat. He was visibly frustrated, disappointed, and honestly a little embarrassed by what he saw coming out of that Algeria stop. Especially when you contrast it with how Speed had been received in places like Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Ghana, where he was treated warmly, embraced like family, and celebrated as one of theirs.
Why when he get to North Africa, he get treated like, huh, Algeria, what's up? Soon as they get over there, you all try to start treating them like.
I don't like to offend them, okay?
They had a football game.
Yeah, but they are ultras, you know, the ultras mentality.
That don't make sense. Let's get out of here.
Aren't y'all supposed to be Muslim, huh? Does the Quran say treat black people when you see them badly? Come on now. You know there are black Muslims too, right? Come on now. Algeria, man. Algeria, you already disrespected the Congo at the soccer game. Remember? The kid, there's a guy that was doing a homage to Patrice Lumumba, who was like the Malcolm X of the French Congo, trying to free the Congo from colonization, who was assassinated, Patrice Lumumba. And he's standing there in the soccer games, and this Algerian, when he scored, he disrespected that. And then Nigeria beat your ass in the Africa Cup. Shout out to Nigeria. Yo, so why, come on, Algeria, come on, man. I have Algerian friends. I have Moroccan friends. I have Egyptian friends. Why you got to be racist, though, Algeria? My Moroccan friends said that Algeria is racist as shit. They said, we don't f with Algeria because they racist as hell. You know, what is it with, and listen, I have Arabic friends, for real. What is it with your hatred of black folks? Because if they call us, they call you sand. We should be like this.
Those earlier legs of the tour felt joyful, chaotic in the best way, and deeply human. People dancing with him in the streets, laughing with him, guiding him around their cities, proud to show their culture to millions of viewers watching live. Then Algeria happens, and the vibe shifts. Godfrey points out that the reception there felt hostile, tense, and uncomfortable. He references what he calls an ultras mentality, the kind of aggressive football fan energy where crowds can flip volatile fast. The bigger thing that bothered him wasn't just the rowdiness, it was the contradiction. Algeria is a Muslim-majority country. Speed himself has openly expressed respect toward Islamic culture on his travels. And yet, Godfrey felt the treatment violated the basic principles of hospitality and respect that Islam emphasizes. At one point, Godfrey basically says the energy got so sketchy that it felt like Speed and his crew needed to get out of there for safety. That's not a small accusation, especially when you're talking about a country that prides itself on culture, history, and pride.
What is up with that? Black people name themselves Arabic names. Jamal, Hassan, Hakeem. We black. Black people, there are black Muslims. Sometimes, this is what I heard, some black African Muslims I know get treated like by Arabic Muslims in the mosque. This is what I heard. If I'm wrong, you all tell me. And don't write that in Arabic. Keep that in English. You understand? So IShowSpeed was treated like in Algeria. And it was one kid against all these people. Everybody feels big and bad when they outnumber a black dude. But if Speed came on hundreds of black dudes, y'all would have been quiet. I'm disappointed in you, Algeria. Come on, man, shout a mut. Puh. Isn't that a word? Yeah, that's up, man. I mean, I'm sure that not every Algerian was nasty to him, but it was kind of embarrassing. He was like, we got to get out of here.
And once that clip circulated, the internet did what the internet always does. Everyone became a geopolitical analyst overnight. Some people argued that what happened wasn't racism, that Algeria doesn't even see itself as culturally African in the same way sub-Saharan countries do, identifying more with Arab and Mediterranean identity. Others push back hard on that framing, saying that distancing from African identity itself often has racial undertones baked into it, whether people want to admit it or not.
Bro, this IShowSpeed racism incident that happened in Algeria is insane. Obviously, Algeria is not in Europe, it's in Africa, but they don't claim to be African, they claim to be Arab. And the fact that people are trying to justify this racism thing where they were all throwing stuff at him in the stadium because he had his hand in his pants, bro, that is not true at all. Locals were literally calling him the GER as he was just casually driving around in the city. It's the fact that it's only the Arab countries that are racist towards people. IShowSpeed is just doing his job as the streamer, showing all these different cultures and countries in Africa, and the Arab countries are definitely being exposed. The fact that they also try to justify the racism as like, you don't know Algerian soccer fans. Come on, bro, no matter what type of soccer fans you are, that's just ignorant to say. I don't know, this whole thing just got me fired up because it's the fact that like, I didn't know this was happening in Africa. And it just shows that it all stems from Europeans because Europe used to rule Algeria. So when I said Algeria and Europe had correlation in my video, it wasn't saying that Algeria was Europe. You got, come on. That's what I'm saying. I just feel like Algerians found any way to like wrap around the fact of like the racism act they were doing. Don't let it go over your head. Everyone knew exactly what I was saying in that video. Europeans used to rule most of North Africa, hence why they don't like to say they're African, they like to say they're Arab. And I'm not saying all of North Africans are racist. I just think that history does show itself here, and that from IShowSpeed streams, you can definitely tell that North Africa is a lot more different than South Africa.
Another camp said the reaction had nothing to do with race at all. They argued that Speed brings chaos wherever he goes. Massive crowds, screaming fans, street congestion, unpredictable behavior, and that some locals simply didn't appreciate the disruption. Not every city wants a walking internet riot rolling through their neighborhood, even if the intentions are positive. And honestly, both things can be true at the same time. You can dislike the commotion and still reveal underlying biases in how that frustration gets expressed. Humans are messy like that. But beyond the Algeria debate, what's really worth talking about is what IShowSpeed has quietly become over the last few years. This isn't the same kid barking at the camera, screaming into microphones, farming shot clips for attention. That era still exists in people's minds because the internet never forgets first impressions. But the reality is, Speed has matured into something much more interesting. He's turned his platform into a moving cultural bridge. He's traveling to places many of his audience would never consider visiting. He's engaging directly with locals, eating the food, learning customs, making mistakes openly, laughing at himself, and showing millions of young people that the world isn't as scary or distant as social media algorithms often make it seem. There have even been reports floating around that his presence has boosted interest and tourism curiosity in some of the countries he's visited.
So many people in Kenya right now.
As Darren Jason Watkins Jr., or IShowSpeed, embarked on the second day of his Kenyan tour, the Kenya Tourism Board says there is already evidence of impact of the 20-year-old's YouTube tour and hours of stream.
Earlier analytics indicates an increased traffic and engagement on the official Kenya Tourism channel and mostly the Magical Kenya platform following the IShowSpeed visit to Kenya. We will be publishing a detailed metrics on the actual impact and the growth in visitors and engagements on our official tourism platforms as soon as the tour is complete.
Whether that impact is measurable long-term or not, the perception alone matters. Representation matters. Visibility matters. Narrative matters. A lot of older generations still hold this idea that Gen Z lives permanently glued to screens, socially disconnected, uninterested in the real world, afraid of human interaction. Speed is quietly breaking that stereotype in real time. He's touching grass on a global scale. He's meeting strangers. He's navigating language barriers. He's showing that curiosity and openness still exist in young people, even in a digital era that often gets blamed for isolation. And the most surprising part? He's doing it with a level of responsibility that people didn't expect from him.
Man, this whole time, bro, they made us fucking think Africa was such a poor country, bro. Such a place you wouldn't want to be at, bro. And Speed is single-handedly changing my perspective on life. Like the music in Africa, the culture, everything, every single aspect of Africa just makes my insides feel so good, bro. And it makes me just want to leave America. Bro, I feel like America is the trap. America is the trap. The American dream is the trap. Everybody else is free, but not free from America. America's the problem, bro. America's the fucking problem. And I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. Like, Speed, thank you, bro. Thank you.
You can see the awareness now. He understands that he represents more than himself. He knows millions of eyes are watching how he behaves in other people's countries, around their elders, their kids, their religious spaces. He's more respectful, more grounded, still energetic, but not reckless in the way he used to be. That's why Godfrey's reaction wasn't just outrage. It felt protective, like watching someone who's genuinely trying to engage with the world in good faith get met with unnecessary hostility. Godfrey also drifted into a related cultural conversation during the video when discussing Egypt and the historical erasure debates around African identity, questioning explanations about ancient statues and pushing back on narratives that downplay Africa's role in its own history.
I mean, I'm sure that not every Algerian was nasty to him, but it was kind of embarrassing. He was like, we got to get out of here. And then when he went to Egypt, he was on a tour and he was like, why are all these statues' noses gone? He was like, what's up with that? You know how he is. Yo, what's up with that? How come all the noses are gone? And she goes, oh, that's because of corrosion. This just lied.
Why is his nose? Wait, why is his nose gone?
We have two reasons. First one, because the erosion factors. This is the weakness point of the statue.
It's because they shot the noses off. Napoleon, the Sphinx, shot the noses off because the noses were African noses, big noses. Listen, you can tell that it's African noses. When they shoot it off, there's still a piece of that. That's how big that nose is, right? If it was a white nose, it'd be like, nothing. So she lied about the history of why. She goes, corrosion. So no other part is corroded, but all the noses are. Because they didn't want you to see that. You ever know those Olmec heads? Those Olmec heads you see with the big, that's African presence. Those Olmec heads got the big noses. That's African features are real. They're real. And they didn't want to see that. Even pictures of King Tut, the latest picture of King Tut, he looks like an Ethiopian. They want these characters in Egypt to be white so badly. That's how you know they're black.
That thread reinforces what this whole situation taps into. Unresolved tensions about identity, race, history, and who gets to define cultural belonging. And when those tensions meet a massive live streaming personality walking through your streets with millions watching, all the quiet stuff gets loud fast. At the end of the day, this isn't really about dunking on Algeria or turning Speed into some flawless hero. It's about recognizing how powerful modern digital travel has become. A single Gen Z streamer can shape how entire countries are perceived by young audiences globally, sometimes positively, sometimes controversially. That's real influence now. Not politicians, not travel ads, not glossy tourism campaigns. A kid with a camera and a connection. And despite the uncomfortable moment in Algeria, what Speed has been doing overall is genuinely beautiful. He's reminding young people that the world isn't just a timeline. It's streets, faces, laughter, awkward moments, chaos, humanity. He's showing that people, regardless of where they live, are mostly the same. And if that's the legacy he ends up leaving behind, that's way more meaningful than any viral clip could ever be.